I worked for 22 years. Yes. I saved my money.
But inconsistencies have many questioning Leader Joseph Matundra's multi-million rand lifestyle. And later,
an isolated incident is the one that must drag me backwards all the time. Everybody that comes, the pit toilet. I don't want to talk about that.
That's how the MEC of Education in Limpopo responded to our findings that shoddy work by contractors could lead to more toilet pit deaths in the province. Hello from Marikana, where leader Joseph Matundra's real rise to power began. In the next half hour, you'll find out how he went from mine worker to millionaire in assets and meet members of his union living in fear of their lives. This is CheckPoint, and I'm Nkepile Mabuse. It is here in Marikana where mine workers died in August 2012, demanding a 12,500 rand wage. That call has returned, and leading it is leader Joseph Matundra, who rose to fame after 44 people died in the most violent strike yet post-apartheid. Matundra has not grown in fame alone. The former lab assistant now owns assets worth millions. He says it's from years of hard work, but an investigation by CheckPoint correspondent Tandupolo Jiga raises some serious questions.
Any attempt to close your shaft as a retaliation towards this strike, we are forewarning you.
This is the new face of South African unionism. But what lies behind the mask of power? For a while now, leader Joseph Matundra's critics have accused him of using the plight of workers for personal enrichment, a charge Matundra has vehemently denied.
I'm not a bourgeoisie.
To date, no one has been able to back up allegations of his burgeoning wealth. That's because most of it is well hidden here in Witbank, where he lives. Matundra had humble beginnings. The 48-year-old was born in northern KwaZulu-Natal. He came to Witbank to work on the mines, beginning his career as a lab assistant on the coal mines. Crucially, this is also where he began his career as a unionist. He was dismissed from the National Union of Mine Workers in 1999 after a feud with the then General Secretary, Gwede Mantashe. 3,000 fellow workers went on strike in sympathy and resigned from the NUM. AMCU was formed by this core membership in 2001. This new union grew slowly, struggling to gain recognition. It was only after the Marikana massacre in 2012 that Matundra's real rise to power began. Today, he lives in the upmarket suburb of Del Judo, in this luxurious home, far from the majority of workers he represents. But this is not the only lucrative property Matundra owns. We went to the Malahleni municipal offices. We found properties registered under his name, worth over 5 million rand in total. The valuation roll shows that the Del Judo house alone is worth 2.5 million. Another high-class property CheckPoint visited was this bed and breakfast worth an estimated 1.7 million rand. People in the area, whose identity we are protecting, say that the work was completed just months ago.
Manje saying over 5 months, 6 months.
6 months to call.
And I'm a company money.
Oh, okay. Despite all this, Matunjwa continues to claim he lives a humble life. Cars are a particular issue for him. In an interview with Mining Weekly in August 2012, he said, "I don't have a personal car. The car I borrow from the union is a Toyota Fortuner." Again, in an interview on ENCA in January this year, he had this to say about the cars he has been seeing in.
Some of those cars are the cars that belongs to the union. Sometimes I use an organizer car, then I'll change it the following day. I'll ask for another organizer to give me the car, and those cars belongs to me.
But CheckPoint discovered that, in fact, Matunjwa has had a number of cars registered in his name. This X5, seen here reversing out of his house, he has owned since 2010. He also owns a 2002 model 3 Series BMW. Again, late last year, he bought another 3 Series BMW. In 2013, he sold a Polo. In February, the Toyota Fortuner that was registered in his name changed ownership. Records show that he is leasing a Lexus from Budget Rental. Matunjwa has always spoken out against the bourgeoisie, claiming he is not one of them. By his own admission to Mining Weekly, his first pay packet in 1986 was between 300 and 400 rand. Matunjwa received a large sum of money in a retrenchment package in 2012. So, he is not a poor man, and critics say he is not transparent about his growing wealth. Matunjwa leads over 100,000 workers, and his union collects millions of rands from the Platinum Belt alone. Today, AMCU collects around 60 million rands in dues from Impala, Lonmin, and Amplatz workers per annum. AMCU also has members in other operations in the country. Gaddafi Mdoda was one of Matunjwa's right-hand men, who says he worked hard to get mine workers in the Northwest to join AMCU in 2012. But he claims he fell out with the AMCU boss when he started asking questions about the union's finances. Mdoda was dismissed early this year.
I don't know where the money goes because there are no trainings, no workshops, no financial, nothing. I mean nothing. You are smelling a rat on this.
George Nkepile was an AMCU shop steward. He too was expelled by the union early this year for allegedly attending unauthorized meetings and claiming the union wanted to kill him. Nkepile says Matunjwa insists that the strike continue despite the suffering on the ground.
That man, truly speaking, if he was not a dictator, he could have the feeling now of the situation, what is happening right now. If we can walk around here, it's a disaster, it's very painful.
He goes further, accusing Matunjwa of withholding the union's financial reports from the members.
Because one thing for sure, when we talk about the financial report, the people that are supposed to be accountable is the treasurer and the secretary. And there must be a secretarial report, but that we don't have in AMCU.
The Department of Labor says that AMCU has provided financial statements to them in the past. But they are still waiting for the most recent financial year, the year the union gained most of its members. Matunjwa continues to live comfortably. After a prolonged strike of 2 months in the world's biggest platinum mines, miners are starving and living in fear. Billions have been lost. CheckPoint went to the Platinum Belt. Late last month, we followed this car of AMCU supporters going to a meeting in Rustenburg, where Contra-Lesser chiefs were addressing mine workers about going back to work.
I met President Matunjwa personally. I discussed this thing where we are saying these negotiations should be characterized by respect for value for life.
The workers were driven out of the stadium by AMCU supporters. while singing Makuliwe, Let Us Fight, and Contra-Lesser leaders were forced to retreat. Defiant Matunjwa loyalists said chiefs had no business in the mines.
Inkosi azizanga apha zizothetha nathi azangophelisa istrike inkosi asizifuna sibona masenze umsebenzi wasemakhaya singohlulwa ngumsebenzi zizonegotiatela thina uMathunjwa uzasifumanela uba akafuma uba siyifumana imali thina singabasebenzi bemine masivalwe ngoba kaloku asina gain esimine ngoba kaloku sisebenzela ama-peanuts ngoku ke sidinikiwe kusebenzela i-peanuts.
But those who want to go back to work were angry and frightened.
And people left for their lives. What I can assure you is that these people are arrogant, lethal, they can kill you. I was at one stage when I raised my opinion against the strike, they chased me up to my house. They threatened to kill me. It's two of us. There's another guy who's the owner of the house. He left the residence for his life.
CheckPoint went with Matale to his house, from where he says he has been forced to flee.
And this is where I stay. As you can see by yourself, this is how I left my room because it was a state of emergency. Like now, I just got a call. These people are saying I must pray. They called me, these AMCO people. Just when I come here, they say I must pray because they are following me because I'm against the strike. That is all. And it's not like I'm against 12,500 that they want. I'm saying the strike does not make sense. Because now I cannot, I have made a deal with my son that if he succeeds, I have a present for him. And I cannot live up to that now. And I'm failing him because of Matunjwa. Please, this is too much for me.
Matunjwa has always been a divisive figure, a hero to many, a renegade to others. CheckPoint wanted to get a better sense of who this man really is. Despite our repeated attempts to get an interview with Matunjwa, CheckPoint struggled to secure one. We went to a recent rally where he was speaking. We asked him about his wealth.
Do you think you are part of the black bourgeoisie yourself? I mean, your assets are more than 5 million combined.
Are you asking my personal life, or are you asking about the strike?
No,
I don't want to be. No.
Leader, all I'm asking is, I want you to put
Can
things
we talk
into
about the
perspective.
strike?
Are you Mr. Matunjwa?
I'm not a bourgeoisie.
But you own expensive vehicles, Mr. Matunjwa.
What's got to do with you? Did I steal?
Are you using?
Did I steal? I'm not working. I worked for 22 years.
Yes.
I save my money. Go to any register where did I steal the monies from AMCO. I never steal any money. I'm not a corrupt leader. It's through my sweat I work. Go to any government and come and check to me. Financial news has come and checked me. What did they find? Nothing. Everything I own, I never steal from the poor. Simple as that.
He walked away, refusing to answer any more questions from us, insisting that he would only talk about the strike. He deliberately eluded us time and again, until the atmosphere around us became deeply hostile. His followers jeered and shouted, saying, "This one has been sent." CheckPoint discovered a man who is not afraid to challenge the power structures of post-apartheid economic ownership. A man who claims to speak for the poor, but who is not open about the extent of his own assets. A man revered by his followers, but who many on the Platinum Belt are now frightened of. A man who speaks of his vision for the workers, but who rejects the public scrutiny that power demands. In the meantime, the strike he leads continues. Damage has been done, many jobs lost, and many more lives will be ruined.
Our next story is pretty disturbing. It's about a mother who alleges that the plight of her baby was abused for financial gain. I'm talking about the mother of the 6-week-old baby who was allegedly raped in the Northern Cape late last year. CheckPoint's Musibudi Ratlebiana investigates. It was a story that left the country horrified. When news broke of a 6-week-old baby who had allegedly been raped in the Northern Cape, South Africans expressed outrage and many offered to lend a helping hand. Among them, Johannesburg businessman Mbuso Tabete. He offered to donate a portion of the proceeds from a gospel concert he had organized in Kimberley to baby Lerato. More than 3 months later, the promise is yet to be fulfilled.
They told me that the first week of January, the first check will be handed to me, and then they didn't come. It was intended for her medical bills, her daily needs.
Baby Lerato's mother says her daughter needed 10 different operations to repair the damage she sustained during the attack. The operations are conducted in Bloemfontein, 150 kilometers away from Galeshewe, where they live.
I went to Bloemfontein on the 24th of January and came back on 2nd February. That's when I contacted Mbuso, asking him how far is he, and he told me, no, Monday I'll be here in Kimberley. I'll fly to your house. And then ever since that day, I never heard from him again. Whenever I called him, his line was just busy.
They live in abject poverty, sustained by government grants and the goodwill of others. CheckPoint decided to call Mbuso while we were with the mother to find out exactly what was going on.
Mbuso, you're speaking to Msibudi from ENCA. We wanted to ask you, Mbuso, about the care fund. Why hasn't she received the care fund since December?
First step for us next week is the meeting with the Premier's office, where we tell them exactly what it is that we're going to pledge to as a seed to kickstart the fund. Thereafter, I would be more than happy to do an interview with you guys.
On the 11th of March, we rang Mbuso for an update.
So everything, well, from our side, everything has now been done. We've agreed to the final figure. So all of that has been sorted out. We were actually supposed to go through to Northern Cape last week, but we couldn't make it, or the diaries couldn't link up. So we are scheduled to go either this coming Friday or next week Monday to do our final presentation through to the Premier's office, at which point we are also going to hand over the check.
A week later, we called again.
Yeah, we're doing our report back this Wednesday, so I'll be in Northern Cape on Wednesday.
Okay, on the 19th of March.
19th, yeah, I think that's right. That's right. But it's definitely Wednesday. I'm not sure of the dates. I'm not very good with dates, by the way, but yeah.
March came and went. No check was handed over. In April, we again requested an update on camera. He gave us the runaround, so we went to his office.
I'm in a meeting. But your
Can we wait for you? Will you give us an interview after your meeting?
Let's see after the meeting.
Once the meeting was over, he invited us into the boardroom. Our camera was still on.
Where is the funding that you promised baby Lerato's mother?
So let me explain to you how this thing firstly came about. But I'm not going to do that in front of camera. No.
Why not? If
I
you've
don't
got
need
nothing to hide, why
Of course I've got nothing to hide.
No,
I refuse to do a camera interview.
Why?
Because I'm at liberty to decide no. I'm saying I'll give you an interview. You can write it down, you can write about a report. I don't want to be on camera. Simple as that.
Okay, so
He told us the money is ready, but that he's waiting for social development to conduct a needs analysis before he releases it. When we asked who at social development he's dealing with, he changed his story, saying he's in fact dealing with the Northern Cape Premier's office. The Premier's office tells us they are waiting for him to make the money available to baby Lerato's mother, who at this point is feeling totally exploited.
I'm making business for my child's pain, and it hurts. It really hurts.
We've branded our second regular feature, Impact. This is where we ask you to get involved. Each month, we will highlight an issue in our education system that needs fixing and urge you to contribute your time and ideas. CheckPoint's Musibudi Ratlebiane spent some time in Limpopo recently investigating the government's efforts to rid the province of pit toilets. The situation as it stands is not encouraging. It's one of the most tragic deaths of our democracy. In days past, fathers buried children killed by apartheid bullets. Today, poor service delivery appears to be claiming more lives. James Gomape's 6-year-old son Michael drowned in a pit toilet at school in January. The Gomapes are still angry. After the death, government rushed 20 mobile loos to the school and new toilets were built within 2 weeks. The state also paid for Michael's funeral. No one yet has died at this school, Barabodi Primary. So here, the risky business of using pit toilets continues. The brand new toilets installed late last year are not working. That's because the job was only half done. This ventilation system, which ensures that the toilets don't smell or fill up quickly, was not fully installed, and the children have been driven back to the pits. A situation that has become unbearable for parents.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy because even the small children and the bigger ones, they are going to the same toilets and there's no privacy.
When I met Education MEC Dikeledi Magadzi, she was beaming with pride over her sanitation program success.
Since July up until as at end February, we have over 600 schools that have been given toilets. Our anticipation is that by the end of financial year, which was yesterday, we should have at least finished 900 schools that have got toilet and water facilities in them.
Are you confident that all the toilets are working, they are in good condition, and the children are using all these toilets?
All the toilets are working in good condition.
When I told her about the situation at Barabodi Primary School, she became defensive and then blamed the school.
This is an isolated incident, which actually will be corrected. It's not a train smash, by the way. It's not a train smash to me.
I reminded her of Michael and asked how she would feel if that happened to a child at Barabodi.
The toilets have been done. That is the point of departure. You expect me to go and clean those toilets? I'm an overseer of a big portfolio, and you expect me to go and deal with this isolated incident. If it happens that something happens, so be it. I'm not God. I can't choose how things are going to be happening, unfortunately. If I was God, I could have made sure that that child doesn't die. But unfortunately, it's God's will. I am not God.
The tragedy is that Barabodi has a repeated history of unfinished toilet projects. These were also half installed by the department several years ago. It is a situation that has been going on for far too long. Even before his son's death, Gomape and other parents in the area had started raising funds to build and maintain their own infrastructure. A sad legacy of money wasted and precious young lives continuously placed at risk. If you live in Limpopo, please get involved. Visit a school, take pictures, or send us video blogs. Whatever you can do to help us monitor the MEC's promise that all the schools in the province will have functioning toilets by June. To support Gomape's NGO, please contact us for his details. We're focusing on sanitation in Limpopo for now. Help restore the dignity of learners and save lives. Send your reports and ideas to checkpoint.impact@enca.com. That's it from us this week. We'd like to hear from you, of course. You can send us a tweet, visit us on Facebook, or send us an email. You've been watching Checkpoint, and I'm Nkepile Mabuse. Take care.